In this video, I'm going to show you to install the community version of N8N in a program called Docker, so you can actually run it on your local computer without having to host it on N8N's website. This is good for if you're just starting out and you just want to mess around with it before you actually start paying for it. So to get started, we do need to download the Docker program if you haven't already. So just head over to docker.com and then click on Download Docker Desktop. If you have a Mac with a silicon chip like any of the M series, you want to choose the Apple Silicon. If you have a Mac or a MacBook from before 2020, so like if you have an Intel i9 or whatever, choose that one. If you're on a newer Windows computer, chances are it's going to be 64 AMD, and then ARM64 for the older ones, and Linux if you're on Linux. Okay, once you download and install that Docker, you will have to restart your computer. When your computer's back on, go ahead and start up Docker, and then you'll see a program that looks like this. As you can see, we don't have any volumes, images, or containers right now. So the reason we download and install this in Docker is that it's its own safe environment. So this doesn't conflict with any files on your own computer. So to actually get it installed inside Docker, we need to go back to N8N's website. And at the top, we want to click on Docs, Self-Host N8N. And then underneath Installation and Server Setup, Docker Installation Guide. Scroll down a little bit under Starting N8N. So I'm going to walk you through how to use the terminal inside the Docker program, so that way you don't need to necessarily remember what all you typed in previously. I'll explain as we go. So the first thing we need to do is actually create a volume, which essentially is a place where your data will save persistently between restarts. To do that, all we need to do is triple click on this line to select it, copy it, go over to Docker. In the terminal down here at the bottom right, click on that. And you may get a pop-up here asking you to enable. Go ahead and click on that. Then you'll see something like this. Paste it in here and hit enter. It will then create a volume called N8N data. Again, this is where it's going to save your workflows and credentials and everything so that whenever you have to restart your computer or restart Docker, it'll all be persistently saved. And then the next command we want to run is this docker run command. What this is going to do is associate that volume you created, the N8N data, to this instance of N8N. It's going to set up on the ports of 5678. And it's also going to set up the node path, which if you were doing this through the user interface in Docker, you'd have to make sure you put this in specifically every single time. But by doing it through the terminal, all you need to do is hit the up arrow, essentially, and have this run. I'll show you when I close this and restart it. But the first time you run this, if you don't have an image for N8N installed yet, it's going to reach out and download it and install it automatically. You'll see it's doing its thing here. It's extracting. It'll take a moment. You'll know it's done whenever it says editor is now accessible via localhost 5678. So again, this is localhost, meaning it's on your local computer. If you click on that, it'll bring you up this N8N login. You'll have to set this up the first time and just make sure you remember your email and password, because there's no way to reset it. Like there's not going to be a link to say, send me an email to reset it. It doesn't exist. So make sure you choose something that you'll remember. Once you fill all that out, hit next. You'll then see the onboarding questions. You can choose whatever you want. It's not going to affect your N8N experience here. Okay, once you're done, hit get started. You'll then get a pop-up asking you about getting the paid features for free. So I recommend doing this. It's not going to hurt anything if you don't, but it's nice to have extra features. It doesn't cost anything, so make sure you have your email put in and send me a free active license key. You'll then get an email that looks something like this. You want to copy this license key, go back to your N8N. Down here at the bottom left, click on the little icon with your initials, go to Settings, and then enter activation key on the right. And once it's activated, you'll get the little license activated pop up in the bottom right to let you know it's good. Close out of that. And then you can click here in the top left to go back out of Settings. And now you're at your overview. So just to prove that the data persists here, we're going to create a simple workflow. I'm just going to put in a schedule trigger. Doesn't matter what it is. First workflow. Now that's saved. If we go back, we have our first workflow. So now again, with this being on your local computer, you need to make sure that you have Docker running here and make sure this container is running. So to stop it, like if you ever want to just turn this off and not have it running in the background, you need to come into Docker, go to containers, click on this square next to the N8N. That'll stop it. Then just for example, if I try to refresh this page, it's not going to be able to find it. So to restart it, typically you'll see on other videos where they say, click on this run, and then you need to fill in all this information. But if you just go into the terminal, all that information will already be there, and you'll know for sure that you're using the same data that you had previously. It's all set up with the right host path and container path and the ports and the name. So all you gotta do is bring up terminal again, hit the up arrow. It'll give you the last command that you just put in. So if for whatever reason you may have used other commands in terminal, all you have to do is go back to N8N's website, go to the self-hosting N8N, Docker installation guide again, and then triple click on this line to copy it, then go back into Docker and paste that in. So the same process we went through earlier, if that terminal doesn't have the most recent line in there if you hit the up arrow. But now that that is running again, if you refresh, you can see it has the same information I had in there before. To update your N8N, you're going to kind of do the same process here. It's going to be up to you to make sure this is maintained and updated. But down here at the bottom left, since we just installed it, it's not going to be here. But if you look down here at the bottom left, there'll be a little update button to let you know that a new version is available. Now, in the cloud version of N8N, you would click on that and it would take you to the management dashboard and you can just choose it there and it would download for you. But since we're doing it on a local host or your local computer, we need to do that in the Docker program. So again, we want to go back to Docker. We want to go to the containers and stop it. Okay. Now, since we have the most recent version, it's not going to download anything different, but if you click on these three dots, you want to choose Pull. And when you do that, it will automatically reach out and get the most recent version of the Docker N8N image. So that's how you can keep your locally hosted N8N updated, installed, and ready to go on your computer. Just remember, you need to have this Docker running and that container running. Otherwise, your automations will not work. Once you do that update, just hit the up arrow and enter. And then make the same container as before. And it's much quicker after that initial download is finished. If you have any other questions or concerns or suggestions for future videos, please leave them in the comments below. Thank you for watching and hope you have a great rest of your day.